Can you hear me okay?
Oh, hold on here. Hold on, folks.
Yes, sir.
Megan, can I go ahead? Okay, I'm going to go ahead. I can't right now. I can't hear Megan, so I'm going to go ahead and work through this. I'm going to take it that I'm live right now. Well, good morning, guys. Thank you for logging on. It looks like we have about 61 participants. There's a couple of things I want to update. We had a very good council meeting last night where we were able to provide updates, and it was pretty much just a recap of what we did, what we had yesterday to everyone. Probably one of the big things I want to hit today is that we are bringing on an engineering firm to help us guide us through the next 60, 70 days through the chlorine conversion process. And I say 70 because the time clock hasn't started ticking yet. And I hope to have that team together maybe sometime early next week. The other item that on today's agenda is really kind of try to answer maybe any questions that we have out there that we haven't answered. And then one of the items that my utility, at least our utility building, wanted to get across. Everyone's probably starting to see this next billing cycle. I think there's been two that have already gone out. You'll see the cycle is at 35 days. Normally, 8 times out of the year, your utility bill will have 28 days, but there are 4 times that'll include 35 days, which we have 365 days in the year. So everybody's getting their bill now. They'll see an increase. That's not due to a rate increase. We did not have a rate increase this year, and most likely through this event so far, it's not been because of increased water usage for flushing any lines. So that bill will not really have anything associated with this item going through here. Hold on, I'm getting a direction here. Check volume on my computer. Let's see here. No, hold on. No, I'm going to do volume.
Sir, can you hear me?
Okay, I've increased my volume on the computer, so hopefully that
go.
helps everybody. Again, I just want to reiterate, we have, of course, 12 billing cycles. 8 of those include 35 days and 4 28 days. And thank you for that comment. So you can hear me fine. So 8 of them have 8 of them have 28 days, 4 and 35. We're right now in the midst of getting bills for 35 days. There are some questions about, will my bill go up for flushing? It possibly could on the water usage. We don't have a handle yet what a typical homeowner would use on a flushing cycle. We're going to try to study that and see what it is and see if we can convey that to homeowners. I'm sure there's a big concern that it could be a lot of water. We necessarily don't think so, but we want to try to watch that. If you can also watch your typical bill, and then if you see an increase, talk to our water department and they can discuss that with you. We all have, different cases. So please work with the utility department and contact them if all of a sudden you think you see a water spike in there. And again, hopefully you don't, because we're really encouraging everybody to, lower your water usage during this time while we're 100% wells. I know there's some concern about the chlorinated water. Again, we do this twice a year. The free chlorine is safe. I know there's also concern about the duration, long-term effects of free chlorine. Again, why we chlorinate the other way, the other 48 weeks out of the year is because it's considered safe, but you're really looking over a lifetime, 70 years and not 60 days. So the CDC has given their guidance, and TCEQ, I believe, is on board that this is the 60-day duration is very short and will be safe. Yes, you will probably see some contaminants in the water, just clearing out city pipes or even our own home pipes of some red water. There's one of the recommendations we have from the staff: before you wash your clothes, let the water run in a cup and see if it's murky that day. If it's red, that's probably iron that's from the pipes, or that then don't wash that day. And then the next day, check again. If it is clear, then you're clear to wash, because we just don't want anybody to ruin their clothes or anything. So it's easy just to watch the water, and then see if it's good. That is about, let's see, I wanted to end the boil water notice. We're racing towards that. We were informed by TCEQ and the engineers that the boil water notice could be 7 to 14 days. I personally don't think that's going to last that long, just from what I'm hearing from our staff and engineers out in the field. But TCEQ makes that call. And it's really from a measurement of the system and the chlorine residuals. So once we start that testing process, then we'll know for sure how we get close. So I'm hoping it's days and not weeks. As soon as we are cleared, then we will lift that boil water notice, and you'll know first if you're, logged in or registered with our emergency notification system. That's how we'll get on first, but we'll put it on Facebook and also our website. So that's how we'll intend to get the message out to the public. Megan, I think that's pretty much my updates. You want to start going to questions? I know we've got Debbie Webb, who is our Assistant Director of Public Works, online, who can answer questions just about the project if we have any of those. And then Christy, who is our supervisor, who's over utility billing. If you have any kind of questions about billing or anything, Christy Lewis can answer some of those questions. If not those, then I'll see if I can answer them, or we'll find the right staff member to get those. And also on the questions, if we don't get them answered today, we'll continue to try to work towards those. Megan, what do you have for me?
Can you hear me okay?
No, I can't for some reason. Hold on. Why are you on mute? Okay. Be patient. I can't hear Megan while she's trying to pass on questions from me. Let's see if we can kind of relay those through. Is there something
You should unmute. Are you muted?
No, I'm unmuted.
Okay, and your volume is up?
Yes, but I can't hear Megan.
Okay. She said it would just be your mute button.
It's up.
All right, everyone. So bear with us. We're going to do this old fashioned way with him on the phone. So Modesto, our first question is there a schedule for when and where the city and state are going to be testing people's home? I believe this is with the customer service inspection. They said, or is it just random? David is not in the office, but I do believe they have a schedule.
Sorry, Megan, can you, yes, is it for the customer service inspection?
Yes, sir. I believe so. They're asking if there's a schedule that we could release.
I think they've worked out first here, but I've not heard. Okay, so no, I don't think there's an established schedule yet. I think they were working from the middle of City Hall out a little bit, and some of the business and some of the neighborhoods close to there. I've not gotten a schedule yet of how many homes. This is really going to be, we'll work on that. The city of Houston is just helping us quickly for probably the next week, this week and next week. This is going to be a long-term process for us where we're going to be discussing how to get a program together. It may take us, 3, 4, 5 months to get the homes, all the homes checked. And then also we'll probably have to, again, implement a program where we're doing this on a daily basis. So when a home gets built or there's a permit, we'll check with that. Maybe it's an annual check. That is something that we're going to work on as well and see how we get that implemented. So no, it's not a project that we can get done in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So we'll transition out of the city of Houston, and then we're also going to have to figure out, okay, how many homes can we, do with, our internal staff as it exists, or are we going to have to bring a company in, or we're going to have to add, a staff member or 2 on that. So we'll try to hit some hot spots that we think what they are. And I haven't heard from the team what those are. But this is going to be a long-term effort for us, and we'll have to fold it probably into part of our regular operations.
Sarah, can you hear me now?
Megan, I can't hear you, so I don't know what you're answering unless I turn my phone on. Megan, what's the next question? You guys are just going to pass questions to me.
Yeah, if you'll come to her office,
Okay.
it would just go more smoothly.
Okay, guys, we're going to change this up a little bit. I'm going to move to Megan's office right next door so we can do this a little more smoothly. As you can see today, I'm the one that's technically challenged. So I'm going to leave and then going to go to Megan's office, and we'll see if we answer those questions. Thank you very much.
Yes. Okay. Sorry. Okay, everyone, can you hear us okay? It looks like they can. Okay.
Okay, great. Okay, we'll start this over again. Now I'm in the room with all the technical nerds. Let's see if we can get this going.
Okay, so the next question we got is, can you give these announcements in Spanish also for the Hispanic community?
That's a good question. We're going to work on that. We've got several employees who can do some announcement in Spanish. We were really trying to do translation. Some of my key people that could do this are my engineers who are actually out in the field working. So regretfully, I cannot speak Spanish. Let me see if we can do this in Spanish as well. We're going to try some of the written ones in Spanish, and we'll see if we can also do an update versus Zoom. They may be a little camera shy, so be patient with. We may have to do some, some urgent behind the scenes. But no, that's a good question. We'll work on that.
Okay, the next question we got is, at what level ppm will TCEQ allow you to lift the boil ban?
My understanding is 0.2.
Okay, the next question is, why did our disinfection levels fall below the safe level? Has that been discovered? I believe she's talking about the chlorine residual levels.
That's a good question. We're still a little baffled by that. We normally measure, I think we have approximately 30 sites throughout town, and those are measured a lot differently than we're measured at this time. Usually when we measure the chlorine levels, we have 30 locations that the engineers have looked at before and said, these are good locations to measure chlorine levels. And if it's at your home, it's always at a home. And so if it's it's usually at a hose bib. And so we'll heat the hose bib, make it sterile, and then take the water sample for that and test that. Sometimes the homeowner gets a little tired of us going on the property. And so we'll set up a station in the right of way, still tap to the line, but it's still a sterile measurement location, and we'll take that. This one was thrown on. They measured those, my understanding, on Saturday, and then they added several other locations of fire hydrants and looking at really at dead end lines in a lot of those. And then they measured those just by flushing out the chlorine. That probably made the test for us difficult, and that I'm also hearing it probably would have been very difficult for any city in Texas to pass that test. But we'll get through that. It's not usually normal to do it that way, and that may be that could be one of the things that got us in that. I think we'll have to, though, coming out of this, we'll have to get a more robust testing program where we probably are expanding our sample testing sites from 30 to what number I don't know. TCEQ is working on the new program that they're going to give us to get out of this boil water notice, but I don't think it'll be all just measuring through fire hydrants. I think we'll try to get back to the format of where's the best location and then how to best measure that chlorine residual. That's the best answer I can give right now. We'll talk louder.
Our next question is it safe to hand wash dishes? This was a question that we got privately.
Oh, right now, still the answer is to use boiling water. Always boil the water first, and then or use your dishwasher, which would heat it up enough to use it. So hand washing, I would use boiled water. I would not do hand washing until we get through the boil water notice.
Okay. We have a question about how long will this chlorine conversion and the odor and the taste change last for citizens?
Most likely, you're already noticing the taste and odor. If we haven't hit a 0.2 in some of the far reaches, we may be at a 1.0 in some that are closer in town, closer to the distribution center. I couldn't tell specifically how long it will last, for any one household. But once we get to the further region and we hit that 0.1, it'll be 60 days. That's when the clock starts. And so you'll at least have it for 60 days.
We've also been asked, as far as the customer service inspections go, if we are inspecting restaurants and businesses in town as well.
Yes, that'll be all part of the program. Then we've started some businesses, but again, it's just like the homes. It'll be a long process, but we will inspect every building. And it can be as simple as, and we're really looking only for outside contamination points, I guess, at the start. New homes and businesses get this customer service inspection as part of when they build a new building. But of course, we have a lot of old buildings in town. So, if your building was built in the 1950s, it may have not had this level of scrutiny until it maybe turned over from a new homeowner. But right now, we're just looking at surface water contaminations outside the home. And it can be as simple as an irrigation system that's tied in improperly, or even a hose that I've left a hose and unreeled in the yard. And if it happened to be in a dirty puddle, and then all of a sudden, and you think it's off, but now you've created a vacuum, and if we have a break in the water line or we're flushing, it could possibly suck all that water in and back into the system. Even though small, I mean, that can still happen. We're looking for little breaches, and then it's also education, not to do this little things. When you fill up a pool, make sure the water hose is not in the pool. Make sure that there's an air gap and it pours into the pool, because anytime that there's a break or a flushing and stuff, what happens, it just sucks that water back into the system.
Our next question might be a good one for me to answer. I actually talked about this. In case everyone doesn't know, we're doing Minutes with Megan, and they're basically just Q&A sessions. And so we have a question about, is it safe to use the washing machine? And the answer to that is yes, it is safe to use your washing machine during a boil advisory. However, during the chlorine conversion process, and especially while we're flushing the system, there can be a color change with your water in your home. So you're going to want to check before you run a load in your washing machine and make sure your water is clear. If you run a load while your water is maybe an orangish or brownish tint, it can possibly leave stains or leave a residue on your clothes. So just do whatever you need to do to check that water first, especially if you're doing a light load or a load of whites. That's what we can give you, but it is safe to use your washing machine. The next question that we got is, have there been any other recent amoeba detections? I believe they're asking within our water system.
No, that is not a test that is conducted at all, really, my understanding from municipalities, except for Louisiana, and I don't even know if it's statewide or if it's located to certain locations. We get submitted to the CDC 11 spots to be tested, and we're waiting for the final results on those. But we haven't discussed with the CDC yet of any future testing. I think what they're going to try to get us matched up with is with the parish in Louisiana has gone through this, and see what kind of program they put together. But the TCEQ here in the state of Texas, does not have the capability to test for that. That's why it took us a while to get any testing results, because we had to send them to the CDC in Atlanta. Atlanta said their only, I guess, knowledge was another testing site, a lab in Florida that did it. But there could be more, but right now, off the top of my head, I think there's only 2. But we'll also be looking at a program to test for it. Really what we're supposed to do is what municipalities do in Texas, and are really all cities in the United States do. They measure for the environment and not the amoeba or any type of bacteria. And so the hope is that if the environment meets a certain portion of chlorine, then the amoeba cannot live in that environment. But we'll continue to investigate that and see how we can get reassurance that it's not there in our system.
Okay, we have a clarification question. Is it 0.1 or 1.0 for 60 days?
Okay, so it's 1.0 of free chlorine. Right now we have to hit 0.2 to lift the boil water notice, and then we'll continue to climb until we hit 1.0, and then we have to hold that 1.0 for 60 days.
All right. And then we have another clarification. Are they going to waive our water bill? I know you already talked about this, so if you could just maybe give a 1 or 2 sentence overview of what you spoke about earlier for those that joined late.
So we're really asking everybody to watch their water usage, and if you see something spike tremendously, please talk to the utility department. Be mindful that the cycles that are going out now are 35 days. So if you see any increased usage right now, that has been before this event started. And so we normally bill, we have 12 billing bills. 8 of those are 28 days and 4 of those are 35 days. So the bills that are going out right now, if you all of a sudden you see a jump, that's really a part of the normal process. That was what we normally used before the crisis. But after that, monitor how much you're using. We're going to try to get a handle and probably a better explanation, or maybe even show, I don't have the answer right now, visibly kind of trying to show if you're flushing your system. Let's say the best way probably to flush your system for 5 minutes is you take the hose belt from the outside and turn it on and run it for 5 minutes, and then I'll draw water into the house and flush out that water. If you were doing that every day, how much water would that be used? I don't know how much I would do, but we're going to try to figure out that and give you a number. And I think it's going to be a lot less than we can imagine what it will be. We'd like to probably try to give you a good answer to that, so you would know, and then try to kind of expect how much maybe your bill would go. But monitor it and watch it and see, it has gotten much higher, or maybe it hasn't. If it has, we'll work, discuss it with the utility department, and then at some point in time, we may discuss it with further up.
Okay, the next one, you may want to field this to Deb Webb. They are asking, can you explain why we can't just turn off LJ water, treat it, and in the meantime, let us have usable water from BWA?
Well, really, this is, that could be a possibility in the past, but the edict from TCEQ was that this was the mandate that we needed to do. The BWA water was was safe, and I understand that question. But really, they're not looking at so much the water source as they are looking at the system, the pipes and the water that's in the system and cleaning it out. So it's not that any one particular source of any wells that could have had this amoeba or BWA water. That's not the question. It's really the system. Was there a breach in the system where maybe this amoeba could have gotten in, or the chlorine residual and the boil water notice is separate from the amoeba, but it's more about pipes, distribution system and stuff than the source of water. So think of it as the water is not what is being questioned. It's more of the system and how that interconnects and connects with everybody. So we've cut ourselves off from BWA and I'm not the technical person to explain that, is that because how they're chlorinated, like we chlorinate throughout the year, and the way we're doing this right now, it would become a food source. And so we really need to stay with one source of water and work on that source of water and chlorinate it and then flush out that system. It would be very challenging to use well water and the water they provide to do it at the same time. So it was easier just to take one source of water and work with that to do the system. Deb, do you have anything to comment? She doesn't want to be on camera, but she's voiced. Did I say it correctly, or did I miss everything up?
No, that's a good answer. It's just, we're going with TCEQ mandates, and it's easier just to run well water at this time. We will be going back to a 50-50 blend when the 60 days are up.
Yeah. So after the 60 days is up, we'll go back to our blend. It'll be a slow progression. It can't be overnight. But the one thing I did want to get across is that BWA water is safe, completely safe to drink. That was not part of this crisis event, and nor do I think it was the well water. It's really just covering us on the system itself.
Okay, so our next question is, could the city or TCEQ explain during a future meeting what the customer service inspection program is about and what homeowners can expect going forward? I do think, Mr. Mundo, if you are agreeable, that we could do this in one of the 1 minute with Megan sessions. I could meet with David, who is our building official. That could be something that we go through with citizens.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea. We'll continue to answer that question. This is an evolving program for us, so I think it'll change. The answer we give today or what we're trying to accomplish, it may be different 60 days from now as we try to roll it into our system. But we'll try to give you updates of what we're trying to accomplish right now. And then as we move into maybe having a backflow prevention program, what that'll look like, we'll try to give that explanation to you in a better format.
Yeah, so that was a great question. Just keep watching. We'll follow up with that in the future, especially once we get the program more defined.
Yes.
So one of our last questions is, when will we be able to water lawns and do landscaping?
Once we get out of this 60-day chlorine conversion process, then that's what we'll be able to get out of it. So probably if the clock hasn't started, sometime in December. And then that doesn't negate. It doesn't mean you can still maintain your pool. We want you not to lose any of the pool. So if you have to, fill up with water and stuff, so you don't lose your water level. What we don't want is you to feel like, oh, I need to drain my pool right now and I need to fill it back up. That's what we're not asking. Also water lawns. And again, the whole purpose is we're 100% well water right now, and we've got to ease the use on that system and not tax it. We've got to keep it operating during the system. That's the most important thing. Luckily, we're getting into a cool spell for Texas, which means we're at 88 degrees. But hopefully it'll keep on getting cooler, and maybe we'll get a little bit of rain to bless us as well.
A clarification question. Will the city be setting up something to wash clothes and take showers at this time? We did just sort of answer this question. You are safe during a boil advisory to wash clothes and to take showers. So the city will not be setting up anything at this time, but you can still do it at your home safely. It's just you need to boil water when it has anything to do with consuming or preparing food or liquids.
Yeah, I think we'll be a lot better once we get this boil water notice. I mean, that's the first task of our project team to work on, and that'll get us out of the woods. But then the 60-day and the chlorine conversion, we'll have to continue to deal with the smell of chlorine water, but it's safe to drink. You may not want to drink it because of the taste, but it is safe. And then just washing the clothes, just continue a reminder, just check the water, fill up a glass, see if it's good that day. If it's not red, so it's probably most likely safe to wash your clothes.
We had a follow-up clarification question about washing your hands. Do you need to use bottled or boiled water? Again, in the same capacity as washing clothes and showering, you can also wash your hands with just the water out of the faucet at this time. During a boil advisory, like I said, the only things that you need to boil water for is just preparing and consuming food and liquids. I also see a couple questions about if we can post our communications. I believe you're probably talking about some of the minutes with Megan and the FAQs on our website. We are working on that right now. Just so everyone knows, we have started trying to make an entire page devoted just for this water emergency. It will be very similar to what you would see when you click on our COVID link. There's an entire COVID page. And so we are hoping to get that live today. Like most of you know, we did not have internet yesterday. And so I wanted it to go live yesterday, but we are going to try and get that live for everyone today and built. So you will see just an entire page for this. We are hoping we can get those communications on there. If our website cannot hold videos, then your best bet is to check our Facebook page. If not, you can also stop by City Hall. We can talk with you. You can call City Hall. We can communicate anything that's in any of my videos or on our FAQs with you those ways as well. We're going to do one more question and then we have to go.
The last question, you're probably right. I probably did say that you was recommending to use boiled water for washing your hands. So I've been corrected by my staff. So I'll retract that statement. Sometimes I misspeak. I read stuff early on and then I need to correct myself. So that's been corrected. It's safe if you're washing your hair and your body with it, you can wash your hands with the chlorinated water now.
But do feel free to use bottled water. That we will continue to give out a free case
Yes.
every day at our pod location. If it makes you feel better to use bottled water or boiled water during this time, you can use it for every water activity going forward. So our final question is just about, why is the water burning my eyes or maybe my skin during this time? I think
it's the chlorinated water. It's almost like the lowest level for pool water is 2 to 4, and we're at a 1. So it's kind of almost like swimming pool water.
yes.
So if you're sensitive, some of us are more sensitive to others. Deb, can they run it for a little while and that helps, or is it no? That doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't help. You're just kind of getting used to the smell.
Right, it's just a different blend. It's the same thing during those free chlorine conversions, those semi-annual conversions.
Mhm.
They experience the same odor and taste difference.
Okay.
um,
So, yeah, we'll maintain it at 1. So, I was.
And some points within our system may be above a 1 while we are trying to get a 1 at the endest points of the lines. So you may be higher. And so if you're experiencing maybe some of the negative side effects of a chlorine conversion, just treat your body and your health the way you would if you were exposed to a pool or a hot tub for long periods of time. We know that you're not used to having chlorine like this in your water, which is why we normally use chloramine, because it's much safer. It's healthier for long-term use. But the CDC has confirmed with us that there should be no long-term negative health impacts on any of our citizens during this 60 days. And, if it has to go a little longer until we hit the 60-day mark. So you guys should be okay to use it, but we know that some people, it is not their preference, and we know it will irritate some people. Please use your boiled water or the bottled water that we are distributing. We will continue to do that during the whole boil advisory, hand out free water. So our pod locations are on our Facebook and our website. But for now, it is at the Recreation Center every day from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. You guys need someone to deliver water to you, whether you're homebound or disabled. You can just give us a call up here at City Hall. We will get that delivered. They're doing that in week increments right now. You'll get enough water for a week. So Everyone, I think that is all the time we have for today, but we hope that you join us. I believe we might try and do this weekend. If not, we'll be back on Monday for sure. Again, it'll be at 11 a.m., always on the link that you've been using. We thank you guys for working with us through these technical times. We know yesterday's was difficult without us having internet, and today we had a few technical difficulties. Monday, we will be much more ironed out. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to message them to me. I believe we answered everything else. But message those to me. My email is all over our Facebook, all over our website, or you can give us a call up here at City Hall.
Guys, thank you very much. And we appreciate your patience in watching us. Thank you.
Have a good day.